My name is Ada. I'm an astrologer, and today I'm going to be looking at the birth chart of Harry Potter. Harry Potter's chart is a very good example of the problems that you run into when you don't have an accurate birth time. We know from the lore that he was born on the 31st of July 1980, and we know that he was born in Wales, but we have no idea what time of day he was born. Now, the first problem that you run into when you don't have a birth time is you either have inaccurate or non existent houses. There are ways that you can guess where the houses should be and therefore guess the birth time. These are called chart rectification. But all of the methods that I've seen for doing this so far haven't satisfied me. So when I cast this chart, I had to do it without houses. Another problem that you run into is the moon. The moon moves through each sign over a course of 2.5 days. And if the moon is anywhere near the edge of a sign, there's a very strong possibility that the moon is not going to be in the sign that it says it is when you cast the chart. I say that Harry Potter's chart is a very good example of what happens when you don't have a birth time because of this moon. When I cast the chart, it says that the moon is in Pisces, but from what I know of Harry Potter, I think that that's almost impossible. If I had to pick a character from the Harry Potter series that really typifies Pisces, I would say that that character is Luna Lovegood. Luna is a character who is a bit spacey. She's introverted. You could see her being a person who sits there not just thinking, but thinking about her unconsciousness. She takes differences of perception, like the kestrels that can be seen by some people and not by other people, completely in stride. She is a person who seems very comfortable with the idea that much of life is a dream and everybody's dreaming a different one. And that makes her a peacemaker in a lot of ways, in a very quiet way. But she is there for her friends and has the tendency to try to keep people together. I think that it is much more likely that Harry's moon is in Aries. In a chart, the moon, for me, tells you an awful lot about what a person finds comfortable. In the chart of someone with the moon in Pisces, they would be a person who is very comfortable in an introverted place, who would get a lot of pleasure out of things like sensory deprivation tanks. This is not the Harry that I know of from the stories. With the moon in Aries, this is a person who is a lot more comfortable in a world where they can act out the sign of the warrior. This is a person who would be most comfortable when they're getting into trouble. This is a person who would create trouble and stress in their lives when they don't have to because they're uncomfortable living in a world at peace. Pisces is the sign of peace. Harry is disruptive of peace, so that tells me that he's a person who has the moon in Aries. But because we don't have the birth time, we don't know. This is all guessing and speculating, and what I'm doing here is a very light and fluffy version of what people do when they rectify a chart. Now, if you have to leave out the houses, you still have 2/3 of the chart. But if you don't have the moon, the heart of the chart is literally cut out, and there's a lot that you can't say. I'm pretty confident in my guess that the moon is in Aries, but I don't actually know. And so reading Harry Potter's birth chart is, in my opinion, dicey at best. So, if you are a person who doesn't have their birth time and has been playing kind of fast and loose with astrology, I urge you to get a copy of your birth certificate, harass your mom, do whatever it takes to get your birth time, because you might be running into trouble like this and you have no idea.